Ik sta hier met meneer Taylor. Meneer Taylor heeft in november 1944 is zijn vliegtuig neergestort vanwege motorschade. En ik mag hem nu wat vragen stellen. Mr. Taylor, the post-D-Day the skies, they were dangerous, weren't they?
Yes, but it was always dangerous flying in an aeroplane with no guns and no bombs, just cameras. But we had the fastest plane in 1944, and we could fly higher than most planes. And until the jets came along, we were quite safe. So it was dangerous, but not for us. We didn't feel dangerous.
And the jets, have you ever encountered one?
Yes, I did. And it was a new one. Nobody had ever seen it. And it chased me for about 10, 15 minutes. And I ran away as fast as possible. And he stayed behind me. And then all of a sudden he'd go boof and disappear. And then he came back again and sat under my tail. And then he went boof the other way. And I couldn't understand. I went on climbing. I climbed as high as I could, up to 39,000 feet. And he was still sitting underneath me. And I was waiting for him to open fire, but he never did. And eventually he went away and stayed away, never came back.
You were lucky. Maybe it was an unarmed reconnaissance plane as well.
Exactly. And it was a reconnaissance plane.
It was.
Yeah, and it might have been on a training flight. I don't know. But it was a very good aeroplane, better than the ME-262. Yes.
It was another
reconnaissance. It was called the reconnaissance bomber, a single-seater.
Okay.
And the pilot could put the aeroplane on automatic control, and then he crawled forward into the nose and took photographs or dropped bombs. And then he'd crawl back to the seat and fly the aeroplane home. The Germans were very clever.
I was always wondering what might be the probable cause of your engine failure.
I will tell you, because I was told. I spent a lot of time trying to find why, and I can tell you the result, and that was one ball bearing broke.
Just one?
Just one little ball bearing broke, and the whole bearing broke. And that meant that the supercharger, which revolved at 22,000 revolutions a minute, was all crossed. And so it came out, and the propeller continued to suck the petrol through. The supercharger broke up into little bits, and all the little bits were sucked into the engine.
You noticed this, and you
Learning about it. There was one hell of a bang, and the engine stopped, and a whole lot of oil poured out of the engine, and it covered the windscreen. I couldn't see out. I had to open the canopy to see, and black oil all in the sky behind me, and the flames started coming out of the engine, and between me and the engine was a big petrol tank with 87 gallons of petrol. And when the flames started licking this petrol tank, I had a choice: stay in and be cooked, or get out. So I got out.
And you got out here at the Hesseler? No.
Well, I don't know. Okay. I thought I was over Germany still, but in fact I landed here. Yeah. And the wind was blowing from this direction, so I must have got out more or less over Holland.
Okay. After all, you had 5 days to evade the German. You managed to evade the Germans for 5 days. How did you do that?
I was a Boy Scout. And I was wearing blue, my blue ordinary uniform, and all the Dutch people wore blue. So I mixed with them when they were walking to work, and nobody took any notice. So at that time there were all kinds of foreign workers in Holland, and I had no shaving, I had dirty old clothes, and I was a mess. But everybody else was pretty
You blended in with the Dutch as well.
blended in with the countryside, exactly.
Thanks very much. The behavior of the German soldiers you captured, that
They were very correct.
they were.
The front line soldiers were always good. They recognized another fighter, and we were sort of together in the battle. So it was only when you got further back that the German civilians started to not like you. But when I traveled by train, I had 2 guards, and we had a private compartment. And the German people got very annoyed. They couldn't get in my compartment because the soldiers were there. Yeah. but it was a really almost luxury.
What could you remember about the liberators, the Russians that you liberated while you were...
First, they were very friendly and told us to go out and join their own troops and break into the houses, rape the women, steal what you like, enjoy yourself. And then they began to worry about us because Stalin told Churchill, I want all the people who were born inside Russia, including the Cossacks who fought against the Russians and the Chechens who fought against the Russians. He said, I want them all brought back to Russia. And if you don't do it, you won't get your prisoners of war back. So we were kept. The Russians kept us after the peace. We were still there while they decided with Churchill. And Churchill agreed. And in the end, we got home and they got all the people they wanted. Not very nice.
No. It's only later that you heard about the 4 Dutchmen shot because they were the Germans thought they were helping you to evade. What were your thoughts when you heard that?
I was horrified. I hadn't fired a bullet in the war. I hadn't dropped a bomb. I hadn't done anything to hurt anybody. I just took photographs. And to find that 4 Dutchmen had been killed because I landed in their field, it upset me. And that's why I'm here now. This is my 24th year coming back to do honour to these 4 men who did nothing. They were quite innocent.
They were. Thank you for the interview. Thank you for the time you're giving to me. And